Hey everyone, welcome to another segment of Nerd Herders. My name is Rich.
I'm Nick.
Today we're talking about what we've been up to.
Oh.
But we've both been up to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Only the one thing.
Oh, just one.
So, it's a what we've been up to, but it's also kind of a review segment.
Yeah, I would call it a review.
Yeah. So we saw Doctor Strange.
We saw Doctor Strange, and I think that the discussion will be very spoiler-filled. You've had 2 weeks now to see it, almost.
Do you want to do a quick spoiler-free?
Should you go see it?
I think yes.
I think yes.
I liked it. I think it's definitely got some flaws, but overall I think it's a very enjoyable and fun film.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A very inventive one too, in
Yeah.
a lot of ways, which I'm sure we'll discuss. So go see the movie. Come right back. Hit pause. Go to continue watching in your watch history later, and if you've already seen it, keep watching.
Yeah.
So. Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Right off the bat, I love the cast. I love the ending. The whole loop thing I think is really creative. I think it works really well. I think the visuals overall are great, minus a few CGI issues. Like the world's clearly like turning, and people are like the characters are moving within it, and they look not very good.
Not always, yeah. There was definitely times where, because you see some visuals like that, you immediately think Inception, you think Gordon Levitt in the hall, and you think about how they did that in Inception, with literally spinning a hall, and it doesn't.
No,
always.
And when you start
sometimes it's very good.
And when you start the movie with that fight, where they're spinning the buildings, and the people clearly look like bad CG, and I'm like, is this what the whole movie's gonna be? And the world bending and stuff looks really good. It's just the people in it sometimes don't look so good.
Yeah, I think that it is specifically at the beginning there where it is most glaring.
Yes.
And then later on, whether it's they spent more time on that other action sequence, or maybe by that point you're more invested in the story, you're more into what's going on, that it doesn't stand out as much. Because at the beginning you're like, what the hell is going on? Who are these characters? Why is it starting out this way? I would agree with you there. I would also say the only other part that I really was kind of like, I don't know how that looks, really, was the car crash.
Yeah.
It was a little bit too cartoonish, where it was like, come on, like this thing is like going on and on. It felt like a Family Guy joke. Other than that, though, I agree with you. I think the cast is fantastic. I think he's great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him interact with some of these other characters. Be part of the Avengers universe, see who they team him up with moving forward. But on top of him, who was really good, I'm looking forward to more Rachel McAdams.
I hope they give her a little bit more to do.
No, definitely.
Which
I'll
talk about
closure to her character, which is another issue, I think.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't know if we needed it. So it kind of goes both ways. I don't know. Like, I think the movie ends in a good way. That also very much leaves you... I think it does a good thing setting up kind of the threat of Infinity War without pounding it over your head. In that you discover that the Eye of Agamotto is the Time Stone, the Time Infinity Stone, and that now that the Sorcerer Supreme is gone, that Thanos will feel okay coming to get it. That's very interesting, I thought. The Ancient One. I thought Chiwetel Ejiofor was really good in the role, and I think that it's going to be awesome that he's the villain.
Yeah, I like that idea of this guy who's invested his life into this world and this art and this way of living, only to find out that it's a lie, and that's what kind of sets him over the edge to become the villain. And I think he has the potential of almost becoming like a Loki type.
Yeah, especially because he's going to, I think, if they handle it the right way, not be just an evil villain. He's a very conflicted villain. He's doing what he thinks is right. He's eradicating magic because he thinks all magic is causing bad. He's not doing it because he wants unlimited power and to be the only person with that. He's literally doing what he thinks is the right thing to do. So that's always interesting when your villain has motivations that you can kind of somehow get behind, like maybe a large enough percentage of a country. But yeah, inventive. You made the comment about specifically. I think you were referring to the Dormammu endless time.
Yeah, where they
very inventive. It's like, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, but in 5 minutes. But I think beyond that, and that is really, it's effective. It's funny. It does a great job conveying the rules easily to somebody. But I thought that almost all of the action scenes were very inventive.
Yeah, like the whole
rewinding time.
That's great. The out of body fight scene they do, I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it still I think held back from being the same origin story we've seen over and over again.
It's held back in that it is the same
Yes,
origin.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of something that you kind of thought maybe Marvel could move past at this point, but at the same time, nobody knows who the hell Doctor Strange is.
Sure, and I get that.
But so it's a difficult thing to do.
But like Rachel McAdams' character is very much Natalie Portman in the Thor movies, and the story is very much, Benedict Cumberbatch is very much like playing like a house type character mixed with Tony Stark. The setup is Ant-Man, it's Thor, it's Iron Man. Like, it's the same thing that we've seen, and I think that's what kind of holds it back from just being that much better.
Yeah, I mean, but it does leave you... And the villain's not as good.
No,
the villain is very generic.
I think he's a step above some of the villains we've seen in the Marvel Universe, but he's still not great.
I think that he has immediacy factor in that I think that Mads Mikkelsen does an okay job with what he's given. I don't think he's great at all. But I think specifically, you walk out of it going, he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
But I think in 2 movies, you will forget that he was there.
Yeah.
You'll forget that he's not there anymore, and you will forget that you saw him.
Like, I really think this movie was almost like 2 hours long, and I think it could have easily used another 20 more minutes. Developing him and helping Doctor Strange get from being in the broken man to wherever they go, because
it definitely hits the beats, not beat for beat of any one movie, but beat for beat of different movies. Like the beginning, that opening, like with him breaking into the thing, that's totally the opening of First Avenger when Red Skull breaks in, gets the Tesseract. And then you go to something a little smaller action scene, and then the movie starts. Like, and then later on, like you said, Natalie, a lot of the stuff with Natalie Portman early on reminds you, not even Natalie Portman, right? Rachel McAdams reminds you of Natalie Portman, like you said. But I think
it moves too quickly too in the first parts of the movie.
They are trying to get to a certain point.
It's too convenient that he finds this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well I went on this whole journey." And I got there. So you really just need to go there. Like, I think it would have been more interesting if he had sort of been like, yeah, I went through these trials to get there. But I can't just send you. You have to still get there on your own.
Yeah. I see what you mean. I think
it just seems so convenient for him to be like, oh yeah, go here, and then that's just...
I didn't mind the way that it's handled with him finding him from his
the therapist,
therapist, or whatever,
the physical therapist
guy, physical therapist. Finding and they do set amount of time for the guy to be like, I remember this. I don't know the guy's name. There's a sufficient amount of time.
That works. It's once he meets him that gives me
I
issue.
even think meeting him and him telling him where to go, in my opinion, not too bad. What really struck me as odd once he gets there and once you meet the Ancient One and you meet these other sorcerers, is kind of like, I was just thinking, the fuck did they let Benjamin Bratt in there for? Like, what did he offer to them? Like, that was when I started questioning, like, the convenience of it. Because it was just like, I don't buy that they would have taught him all this. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, then you sort of think, too, it's like, okay, well, what point did he... he talks about when Cumberbatch meets him of, I decided to walk away. But, like, how much does he really know, and when did he walk away? Like, there's more questions to that I have. Because there's no even clear point when Strange is going through this training where he has the opportunity, like, I've learned enough to heal myself, I'm going to walk away now. Like, that choice is never presented to him.
I think it would have been... I think that maybe a better way of doing it would have even been... the movie it opens with him successfully completing a surgery that looks very incredibly hard. It
Yeah.
shows how good he is, how cocky he is. Maybe you open that with him doing that to, like, and saying, this guy will never walk again, but I saved his life, and it ends up being one of the sorcerers. It's like Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Mhm.
And then after all this time passes, and he's helpless and this and that, and this guy's never supposed to walk again, he somehow sees him on, like, a news report walking, and he's like, how is that possible? Let me find where he was, and he has to figure out where, like, maybe something like that would have felt less convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they are clearly trying to accelerate the story at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's why if this movie had, another 15, 20 minutes, like, to breathe and really kind of flesh out that, and, Mickelson's character.
He's okay.
Which I like where they're going when he's in the trap and he starts talking and you're like, I get where he kind of what you're saying at the end of the movie when I forget his Chitilio, whatever.
I don't remember either. Mordo?
I don't know what the actor's name is.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah. Where he's this conflicted person. Mickelson's coming from a way too where you're like, I see his side of it. Mm-hmm. But I think he would have been a better villain if we'd gotten more time to really develop it. He just kind of shows up at this really convenient time where they're like talking about, oh, this is the thing and you don't want it, and here's the 3 realms and we have to keep them safe, and then boom, right away shit goes south.
Yeah. I was listening to an interview with Scott Derrickson earlier today, the director / co-writer. And he made some funny comment about how, he had heard a lot of the criticisms, whether he agreed with them or not, about how Marvel movies always ended with a city being partially destroyed and a portal being closed. Mm-hmm. And so he decided in his movie that in the final act they were literally going to repair a destroyed city and not just leave the portal open, but have the main character go into it.
Which I think that whole scene's really cool, and everything starts coming together, and these people who are dead, and like they got to avoid, the stuff in reverse, and all that.
Cool.
I think works really, really well. Mm-hmm. I just wish the structure of the movie, or the basic story of the movie had just been, I don't know, elevated a little bit more. Because I feel like I'm gonna feel like I do about Ant-Man in another year or so, where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Doctor Strange. Like, it was fun, but I'm more excited to see how them putting Doctor Strange in the rest of the universe.
Yeah, well, I think that that's kind of a product of this being the 14th movie, and I think that in a lot of ways, wrong or right, we kind of take these movies for granted now. I think that if this movie had been on its own, isolated 10 years ago, we would have thought maybe it was just as good as Iron Man.
Well, I agree.
I would have thought it was better than Iron Man.
And I've talked to
that movie's overrated.
I've seen a few different people who aren't into Marvel movies, don't really care about any of that, haven't kept up with it, saw this and loved it. And if this was the first thing, or even the second origin movie that we saw, I would be all over it.
Yeah, we're a little spoiled. Mm-hmm. I think that is kind of the issue that Marvel's going to run into, but this is also very much shows how effective the Marvel machine has become. Mm-hmm. Because they have once again taken a character that by all accounts I never thought would have worked on screen. And not just made him work, but made people care about it and made people excited about it and made people want more. And on top of that, though, the other thing that I was going to say is they've also shown that they can make really pretty awesome movies with filmmakers that I never expected it would work. Like, I was not excited about this guy making the movie, just like I was not excited about Peyton Reed making it, or you never would have even thought Jon Favreau would make an awesome...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they just keep doing it almost time and time again, where it's just like, I don't know why I doubt them ever. Like, I thought this guy sucked. I hated Scott Derrickson. He made a pretty damn good movie, and he helped, and he wrote it, and it's visually unique and interesting, and there's all these creative flourishes, and it's like, well, what happened to the rest of your movies, dude? This is not your first rodeo. It's really interesting. I don't doubt them anymore, and I do think that the origins, for a while, are gone.
I hope so,
because we've already, we get Spider-Man: Homecoming next year, partially with Marvel. Kevin Feige heavily involved. We've already been introduced to him.
Yeah, so that's.
Everybody assumes, because they've already cast her, Captain Marvel is going to be in Infinity War. So her own movie doesn't necessarily need to be an origin story.
We've already been introduced to Black Panther.
We already know him.
Yeah.
So all these upcoming movies
I hope that will solve that problem for a while.
I think. But at the same time, if you just kind of see Captain Marvel and Infinity War and they don't do the origin there, like they did with Black Panther in a way, then you got to go back and explain it, I think, at the same time. Well, so I don't know.
And I've always kind of praised Marvel for being able to like recreate the comic book universe experience on the big screen and take all these different properties. And if you want to follow, you just want to watch the Captain America movies, you can just see the Captain America movies. If you want to invest yourself in the entire Marvel universe, you can invest yourself in that. And they've done same thing with comics. But with comics, you can read the first issue and go, okay, it's setting up, it's a similar origin as every other one, but you know what, next week or next month I'm going to have another one, and I'm excited to see where they go with the next issue.
Yeah.
Whereas these are like, okay, it's the same setup. Now I'm excited to see what they do with his next appearance another year, another 2 years. Right. And it just doesn't...
The cool thing is, with him, we know from the post-credits we're going to get more of him in a year.
Yeah.
With Thor Ragnarok.
Now, did they confirm before this that he was supposed to be in it? Okay.
Not that I knew of. Okay. I didn't know he was going to be in it. Very cool. It was a funny little bit.
Yeah.
And it also makes me excited. I was already excited for Thor Ragnarok. There's a lot of reasons to be excited for that. But...
throw this into the mix, and they've created this universe where magic really didn't exist, but kind of with Scarlet Witch and stuff, but it wasn't really delved into too much. Where it seems like it'll fit from what we've seen in this, so I'm excited to really actually see that, blended with the rest of the superhero
and
stuff that they've got.
It seems like he's going to play a pivotal part of Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get his second movie. The movie's doing quite well, so I think we'll get it. And I think that now we've seen Black Panther, we've seen what Spider-Man looks like, we've seen him. We're excited about Captain Marvel. I think that if we are really moving past a lot of the actors that started Phase 1, Phase 2, if Infinity War closes a lot of them out, I feel more and more secure in the Marvel Universe moving forward, also with Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Agreed.
I'm not nervous about it like I was before. I think that they kind of hit it out of the park again with maybe it was a home run, but maybe it stayed in the park and the guy just had to get back home. So it was good.
Yeah,
we liked it.
Bravo. If you stuck through this without seeing it, I don't know why you would, but go see it.
Yep.
What did you think of Doctor Strange? Let us know in the comments below, or you can tweet at us. I'm on Twitter at Rich Belson.
I'm at Stonks.
The channel is on Twitter at OABeer_official. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/overbeer. We're on Instagram at over_a_beer. And of course, right here on youtube.com/overbeer. We also have the Overbeer podcast at soundcloud.com/overbeer, iTunes, and other podcast services of your choice. That wraps things up for today, though. So next time, drink up.
And butter me up.